you should be able to see previous recordings of lectures. But if you already have this just added the class, you should be able to, I can forward you the old recording, something like that. So I actually sat with my back so you could see my screen, but looks like you sat farther. Maybe you have very good eyes. Okay. Oh, you like him. Yeah, he's cute. But anyways, just kidding. Anyways, I think that I will just run this by Zoom because looks like we always have shortage of students in class. And yeah, I think it's a good idea if you can just share his screen if he doesn't mind. It's fine. And but the point is that you want to be able to see what is going on the textbook, because otherwise, if you don't have access to it right now and you sit someplace else, just hear me talking is not going to make much sense. Because first of all, I need to talk into the computer, and this way. So I guess you wanted to see my screen, or you have access.
No, because it says that I can't do it.
Yeah, with Apple, it's sometimes an issue to log in. So you should go to the library and
Okay.
check with them if they can help. Otherwise, they should give you the laptop that you will be able to use for this class. And that's the key idea. So anyways, I'll be doing some problems. I will be recording lectures to those people that are not in class, because it looks like right now we have 13 people on Zoom, so maybe a few more in the classroom, but according to the list, oh, it's already 14, but I'm the one of them, so 13. According to the list of students registered, we have 28. So we have like a little bit more than a half, but it's, I guess, not good enough. So the plan was, since this class was in the blended format, to run this by Zoom, because that's not really a face-to-face class, which some people could expect to have, but I can always stop by in the classroom, so I can do it, like say, next time on Wednesday or so, because this is Monday, Wednesday class, so I can do, say, Monday on Zoom, and then on Wednesday I can come to the classroom, but we'll always discuss it on Monday. If you need me to do this, I absolutely don't mind, as long as you feel comfortable with all of this. But again, you should be able to log into the Zoom using that link. And if not, well, get help in the college. We have plenty of resources for that, including free internet. So anyways, I should be talking into screen, otherwise the recording is not gonna, people not gonna hear what I'm saying, so that's the issue. And I just opened the textbook, and we have here the first few sections that I already covered. So far, we went through a few review sections in chapter 1 of this absolutely free text. And we'll just see how you feel about, we stopped at section 1.3, right? So it was problem on the page 29. If I add 10, it'll be 49. Why I add 10? Well, because there are a few blank pages in the beginning of this textbook. Now, if you missed a few class meetings, don't worry. It's not a big deal. I know that things happen beginning of semester, and I'll of course make a adjustment on that. And since this is probably first class for some people in this college that you're taking, I decided to start it nicely. Just start with giving A grade to everyone in class. And then if you keep up with that, and I'm not going to make it hard, so you will be able to definitely keep up with a perfect grade if you take it seriously. I will always tell you what to do to get better results. So I will update your grades. So those people that just added probably don't have any grade on the Blackboard. So I will update those later. And then in a couple of weeks, I'm gonna update grades again. So if grades go down a little bit, I'll tell you what to do to push it back up. And I know some people don't care. They say, I just fine with a C, Alex. Don't wanna waste my time on this. Well, that's fine. If you like that new grade you get, you could just do the same thing as you did before. So anyways, last time we had, I think we had a little quiz, right? I told you to raise something to the power of 0. Remember what it was? If somebody remembers what I asked you to raise to the power of 0, please let me know. Because the nice part of this textbook is all the problems answered. Next to the exercise, there is a answer. When I say, so what is the textbook, Alex? Well, let me put the link to this textbook here in the Zoom. So I copy and put this right in the chat for this Zoom class. So if you were able to open the Zoom, you could just click on this link and you can, of course, get this going. Or else at the end of class, I will show you how to find this textbook absolutely free online. So I don't remember what I had for the quiz. I remember that was a power of 0, which is equal to 1. Next time I will record the question. So whatever you have, for example, if it's a 2a squared, no matter what, you raised on the outside to the power of 0, and the result is going to be always 1. So that was one of the formulas that we considered. We also had quite a few more formulas in this section. So planning to look at some more of them, like say doing exercise 55. So I'm in the section 3 of chapter 1. So it's going to be section 1.3 then. So in exercise 55, where you have x cubed multiplied by x to the power of 5, all you have to do is add those powers. So if you add these powers, 3 and 5, you will get 8. Remember, there was a special formula for that that said if you have n's power of x multiplied by m power of x, what you get is power of n plus m. So I hope you can see. I know that you have an issue, so can you all see what I'm doing right now? If not, maybe you can just get closer.
Yeah, right now
Yeah.
I'm trying to sign into the Zoom.
So try to log out from your account, because I know that some computers are set up that you have to enter your email account.
Yeah.
So try to log out from your account, and then you need to, I guess, log into MDC student account. So that way, if you're an MDC student account, then it should let you in. Because otherwise, the college set this up in such a way that they don't want anyone to be able to get in if they're not students. So that's the key idea. So if you try to log into your student account, and that's why it's a good idea to have a laptop. And at the end of class, I can show you where the library is. So you can just go there and try to.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm recording this little lecture, so you will be able to see what problems I did a little later today in the afternoon. I will send you this recording anyways. So there were few formulas in this section, and the second formula multiplies the powers. That happens if you raise n's power of x to the m. So the result will be x to the power of n times m. So sometimes you add powers, sometimes you multiply. We also saw that sometimes you subtract powers that happens when you divide the n's power by the m's power. So here they are, difference n with m. So that'd be the next formula. And that's what we saw last Wednesday. So now we can see what else is in this section. And turns out there are two more of these formulas. The one we had a quiz on, the zero power of exponent, which is 1. And the other is negative exponent. That's the last one here. That is equal to positive power, but in denominator. In other words, to make negative power positive, you need to bring the expression down to denominator. So this whole section deals with these formulas. So I can try another exercise to use these, such as a problem 103, for example. In exercise 103, we have a to the power of minus.
Is being recorded.
Oh, good. So you got in.
Yeah,
That's
somehow.
great. Okay. So just try to keep the volume down, because I guess you hear my voice and that'll be echo. And denominator is b power of -2. And this is whole thing the raised to the power of -2. So I'm glad that you were able to get in. So if you guys can also log in, you are fine with it, or you're still trying?
Oh, I got it.
You got it. So if anybody, so nobody needs, so maybe I can just sit with my face to you, because they say it's not nice to put back my microphone. My microphone is not muted. Yeah, my microphone is good, but thanks for checking. Yeah, when you are in online environment, it's a good idea to always make sure the microphone is working, the other things, because there could be one little thing and it's not working. So it's a good idea to always make sure that everything works in terms of technology. So anyways, so I'm glad that you were able to all log in. That's the way to go. And then I will continue with problem 103. Looks like already we have 20 students that were able to log in. That's awesome. So I raise a to the power of -3 to the power of -2. And what I must do is multiply these powers. So the result will be a power of 6. And the reason I do this is because of formula number 2 in here. Well, thank you for coming. Get in. So we divide this also by b raised to the power of -2 times -2. So I always also multiply these powers, and the result will be 4. So here we have another exercise. So you guys just came in, so you know that we do in the Zoom. You have access to it. Awesome. Okay. So exercise number 103 is here. And well, let's see what else they have for us. Maybe I can do another exercise that deals with this negative powers, right? So if, let's say, they want us to do problem 113. So it'd be nice that you just maybe pay a little bit of attention to what we're talking, because the recording may be able to record what you're talking to each other as well. So please just be quiet, or if something extremely important you want to discuss, you can always step outside. There are nice seats, and you can always discuss it on the outside. And then once you finished, you can always come back. Or if there is a question, please ask me, because lots of time your question is so good that it's worse that other students in class benefit from my answer. So if you ask your friends or neighbors, you might get totally wrong response, and that could be not very good. So if you come into class, then you should try to mute a little bit. It'd be nice, because we don't have very long class meeting. I actually had one student, she said, Alex, I just cannot keep quiet for such a long time. I just must talk. I just don't. no way I can just be muted. And well, in this case, you could always be on Zoom and mute computer, and you can keep talking, and that's fine because I do recording this way. But be considered to other students that might try to listen. So, anyways, I was trying to do another exercise here. I found one good. Let's see, 113. Let me do one more. So in this section, we already saw lots of problems are short. And that's what actually makes it be nice, because you get the answer pretty much right away. And another advantage of all that is that we have the answers right next to your exercises. So x cubed goes down. We need to use the last formula in this problem, right? Because if my power is -3 on the top, I make it be positive on the bottom. And also there is still y to the power of 3 in denominator. So it looks like I just made my powers of x positive, but when someone looks at the exercise answer, you see that this is a -1/216. So how come there are no letters x and y? And the point is that -2 and 3 is what I have to plug instead of my variables. So instead of x, I put -2. Instead of y, I put 3 and cube them in denominator. So what do I get when I cube -2? Is that -8, right? 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. And the result is negative. And with 3, it's going to be 27. I say, Alex, how do you know that? Well, we have a calculator, free calculator called a scientific calculator. Notice I just go on Google, start typing scientific calculator, hit enter, and well, get a free scientific calculator, which is going to be choice number 1 here. This is so-called Desmos calculator. I can also put this in Zoom chat for you, so you can, I guess, bookmark it if you want, or if you prefer your own calculator, you can always use it. Just make sure you do the problems right. So how do I get the result? Well, it looks like I can multiply negative number 8 by positive number 27. And exactly 216 is what the answer looks like. So it's negative. So I put a minus in front of the fraction 1/216, just like that. I guess today I'm not going to give you a quiz, because it looks like some people in class may need some of my guidance or help at the end. So that's fine. I guess next time on Monday next week, we will have a quiz. So no worry. Because I know some people really love to have those quizzes. So anyways, let's see. Here's the section 1.3 is pretty much finished. And for practice, advice is try to do a few problems from the section. Like I just did a few problems. I did 55, 103, and 113. And you can always do this on a piece of paper, scan it or picture it, and then email it to me when it's due. The homework is due on the day of midterm. So we're going to have a midterm at the end of February. Yes.
Actually, I'll ask you after that.
Yeah, sure. You should not hesitate. Maybe you have such a good question that other students will like to hear a response, but it is up to you. In fact, on Zoom, if you don't feel comfortable asking me a question, you can always type it in the chat. In the Zoom chat, you can type question, but don't send it to everyone in class. You can send it only to me. So you can select my name, and because I constantly monitor the chat, and if I see the question, I try to answer it as soon as possible. So anyways, one way to ask questions when you're during the class meeting on Zoom. The other way, you can always email it to me. Whenever something pops up, send me email. Sometimes students send me emails at 2 o'clock in the morning, which is fine. I can hear ting. So that means that I got some email and I can reply to it. Well, usually not at 2, but maybe because in the morning, it's 8 or something. But that's the fastest way to get the answer to your question. And please don't send it to me to the Blackboard, because the Blackboard is a little bit tricky. I don't see it until I get into the Blackboard. I get into Blackboard probably about twice a week. So that's why sometimes it doesn't get answered quickly. So if you send me a question to the Blackboard, I usually ask you to next time send me directly to my email, which is shown on the syllabus. And that's why it's a good idea to have a syllabus handy. If you lost it, well, let me know. I can send you another copy by email. I will do this at the end of class, whoever is interested. And the syllabus, as you already said, is also posted on that Blackboard. But I'm trying not to use Blackboard for the emails. It's not very convenient program. So anyways, next section here talks about using the calculators, like the one that I have here, scientific calculator. Let me go back to it. And it turns out that when you have some very big number, let's say if you put 23 and a whole bunch of zeros, notice that this number is not number with a bunch of zeros. It's written in some unusual way. It has 10 to the power of 11. That's a special way calculator writes down numbers. It's called scientific notation. So if you have a very large number or a very, very small microscopic number, the calculator will give it to you in scientific notation, just like I have here right now on my screen. So what does this actually mean? What kind of actual number is hidden here behind this scientific notation? And to write this in a normal way, in the way we write all of the numbers, I must move my decimal 11 places to the left. So I have to move it one place to be in front of 2. And then I need 10 more spots. So if I move actually to the right side, to the right side, I need to attach a number of zeros. So if I multiply by positive power of 10, I move this to the right, so I make number bigger. So I already have 4 digits and 7 more zeros. So the answer is minus, just copy without a point, 2, 1, 7, 8, 4, and then we go with 7 extra zeros. So put 3, and then 3 more, and 1 more. So this way is going to be a huge number, which is something in terms of trillion, right? But since it's such a long number, the calculator tries to write it a little bit more compact format. That's what it does. So I hope that you encountered this type of numbers when you had your calculator turn on and was dealing with them. Well, if not, I guess you can do a couple of problems in this section. We will not encounter those very big or very small numbers in most of the exercises in this class. So that's why I would say that this section could be skipped technically, but still you can try to do some of problems in it, and they're all calculator exercises. So I can try one more just to make sure that everyone feels comfortable about this. So let's say 39. So you have to multiply 4,000 by 30,000. Well, you say, Alex, how would you know that you have to multiply them? There are numbers inside the parentheses, but there is no multiplication sign in between of them. Well, the rule says no multiplication, no sign at all. It's a multiplication. And then you divide this by 0.0030 zeros in front of 6. So let me go for the calculator, because to do this by hand is really a waste of time. So I just put 4,000 times, and there's 30,000, 2, 3 zeros, and then divide this by 0.123 zeros and a 6. And that's it. I got the answer. I say, what kind of answer is that? That's 2 times 10 to the power of 11. That's another big number. That's analogous to the previous result, the number in terms of trillions. Well, I guess they created this exercise on purpose, so we see and don't panic when encounter scientific notation. All I have to do is attach 11 zeros, right? At the end of 2, so I put these zeros, 9 and 2 more. And then I can, for convenience, put commas so I can see the actual number here. So it's 200, looks like trillion, right? So it's a million, billion, trillion. So 200 trillion for the answer. So once again, if you saw these numbers and don't panic when you see this power of 10, you could just skip this section. And if not, you can just do a few problems. And once you feel more comfortable, then you can move on. And more comfortable means you can just compare what you produce with the actual answer. Notice that the answer is given in this beautiful textbook right at the end of your exercise. So once you're done with the exercise, you can see the answer and be done with it. So this seemed to be something nice, I hope, and straightforward. There are some word problems that show where it's being used in astronomy, or in some biology-like exercises where numbers are very small. But again, I don't ask for your homework to do any application problems unless you really want to. If you want to, you can definitely do it. But if you just doing homework and trying to do the minimum, well, 2-3 problems in this section will be good enough. And of course, if you tried some of these application problems and couldn't produce the same answer, this be the good question to ask me next time. Or you can just send it to me by email. So I will try to do it next time when in class. So now the next section is something that is probably very familiar to you. If you took any math class, you always encountered solving equations. These exercises are completely different, though, compared to problems that we saw in the previous sections. Previous sections, we had some expression, we had to simplify it, make it smaller and more compact. With equations, it's totally different. Someone can say, Alex, you use word equation. Why is this equation? Well, because it has equal sign. Look at the example 2 here. You have something equal to 0. So that's called equation because there is equal sign. And to solve equations, there is a special way to do this. So let me clear my scribblings here. So let me share this again. So this is a quick way to clean everything. So what you do is solve equations by doing the same thing on both sides of your equation. Yes, some problems you do on a piece of paper for homework and email it to me on the day of the midterm. So please don't email me your work at some random days and times, because it'd be very difficult for me to keep track of what you've done, what you didn't do. So when we have a midterm, you can make pictures of all of your work. Maybe it's a good idea to do it on the notebook and scan it or make pictures or put them on the cloud, whatever way, and send me that when we have a midterm. Yes.
All of the work, like
Yes.
even missing assignments, everything.
Everything. So I don't think that if you added the class a little later that you missed much, because I'm sure that you're already familiar with exponents or some other things. We're just doing the review. So you can check a few sections that you missed, section 1, section 2 of chapter 1, and I'm sure you will be familiar with it. So let's try to do a few problems from those. But try not to miss, because if you keep missing more and more, you might get behind. So anyways, how they solve equations? Well, they do the same operations on both sides of equal sign. So in this equation, they subtract 8 on both sides because they want to isolate x. Goal is to find what x is equal. So first of all, they took 8 away, and then they divided by 2. And again, same thing on both sides. So I divided by 2 on both sides. And that's pretty much all we need to be able to solve equation. So let me do a couple of problems here, and then we'll stop again. I don't think I'll have time to give you a quiz. So today we'll have no quiz. Usually at the end of class, I give a quiz, just a short, nice exercise, similar to what we did in class, but not today. So anyways, looks like from practice part of the section, I can try, let's say, exercise number 47. So this is section 5 of chapter 1. So it's section 1.5. 47 says, look at the -3 multiplied by r plus 6. Well, why don't I distribute? Why don't I right away multiply that -3 and by r and by 6? So it's going to be -3r, and -3 times +6 is -18. So point is to find letter r. And this parentheses is definitely on the way. So I simply get rid of the parentheses. Then what? Well, the next step is to take away 18, or people say add this 18 on both sides of your equation. So we got a -3r here on the left, and the number 16, right, on the right side. Whatever it is, we are getting closer to get r isolated. So now I divide by -3 both sides of this equation. So r is going to be found. It is something negative. When I say, well, Alex, this is 16/3. There is nothing else I can do here. Well, some people might write it as 5 1/3, right? Or 5.33333. But these are all the same. To me, all these answers will be identical. I wouldn't really mind if you write it as 16/3 or 5 1/3. In fact, in this textbook, they have the answer. You can see next to the exercise, -16/3. So I guess it's good to realize that you can write the same number differently, especially if it's a so-called mixed number. Let me try one more, and then I will stop, and then we can see if anyone needs my syllabus or anything else. We'll work on that. So exercise 65 is another equation to solve, but this has denominators. Well, denominators, they do bother me. So I want to make this look better. I will get rid of those denominators. So I will find the largest denominator that works. And this is common. And this is 6, right? Because we have 6 and 3 is a friend of 6. So what I'll do is multiply by number 6 on both sides of my equation. Remember, we must do the same thing on both sides. It's always the case. But here on the left side, I have 2 pieces. So I have to multiply by that 6 each piece separately. And I do this so there'll be no denominator. So that one cancels the 6 and 6. And 3 cancels with a 6, I get 2. So the point is not to have any denominator. So just left with an x from the first term, plus 1 times 6 is 6 from the second term. And on the right side, it's x times 2, which is 2x. Look at this equation. That makes me feel much better. No more denominator. So we can find x. And when I look a little closer at this equation, I said to myself, Alex, why don't you just subtract x on both sides? So you will get what x is right away. So what I got is 6 on the left side is equal to x on the right side. And this is it. This is solution. So 6 is equal to x. When you say, shouldn't we write x is equal to 6? It doesn't matter. X is equal to 6 or vice versa. 6 is equal to x is a same thing. And it's good to realize this. So I started to work on section 1.5, solving equations. We'll do more next time on Monday. So on Monday, I plan to be on Zoom, but on Wednesday, I will come to class once again. Well, just to make sure if anybody needs whatever, we can discuss it in person. And I guess otherwise, you could just stay on Zoom like most people do, because I'll bring my computer again and it will be recording the lecture again. This is going to be next time we meet on Monday. This week, we have only one class meeting because of holiday. So I hope you enjoyed your long weekend. And now you're facing another weekend. How about that? But make sure that you get textbook downloaded to your device. This is very important. So I stop recordings.